Hi, this is Delaney Bramlett with John Broughton on Retrospectives on 3SER Casey Radio.
Just to begin, I saw a wonderful film clip of you the other day. It would have been from about 1964, doing Chuck Berry's You Never Can Tell, probably on Shindig, I guess.
Yeah, you know, somebody sent that to me. Yeah, that was Shindig. And you see Leon Russell with brown hair playing the piano solo.
Yeah. You look
Did you know that was Leon?
Yeah, for sure. You look like a real clean-cut kid. Were you an ambitious kid in those days?
Oh, yeah. So it was, you know, we did that show for, what was it, 3 years, I think, wasn't it? I think it was on there 3 years or something like that.
Wow.
And I got to meet some great people that I loved and play with them, and you know, the Ray Charleses and the Howlin' Wolves and all those people. And some of them I had already met, but I never did get a chance to sit down and just jam with them like I did then. And that was great fun.
Now, talking about this new record, there's always been an element of blues in your work through the years, but this one is very much a full-on blues album. Is that something you've wanted to do for a long time?
Yes, I have. I've wanted to do that, and I've always wanted to do a country album. And I've you know, since I kind of took off, got out of the business for a while, I quit to raise my daughters. Everybody thinks that I just quit, but I did not do that. I just took off to raise my daughters, and it took me a while to, once you get off for a while, and your daughters grow up and they go away, there's a lot of catching up to do, and I couldn't find myself fighting music like the rap stuff and this stuff and that stuff, so I waited in the heavy metal, you know. But I decided I'd just go ahead and keep writing my thing and do the things I never had a chance to do, and have it ready for when I thought it was right. And I just thought now was the right time.
I see on your website you've named Robert Johnson as one of your all-time great influences. How old were you when you discovered his music and indeed were taken in by the blues?
By Robert Johnson?
Yeah.
I knew about him. I knew about him when I was a little boy.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, because he was. I wasn't born and raised, but just a hop and skip jump from where he lived. You know, I'm from Mississippi too.
Yeah.
So, a lot of old Mississippi blues people down there. I kind of got to know them before my time, and I love it. That and gospel music is kind of what I grew up on. And then I never got away from it. I had never had a chance to do one because all I did was barely had a chance to do the rock and roll thing. So, and they didn't want me to kind of break out of that because it was well, Jerry Wilson told me, said, well, you got hits right now. You want to come out with, like when I did this Never Ending Song of Love, this kind of country thing. He said, you sure you want to do that? And I said, yeah. And sure enough, it was one of the biggest songs I ever wrote.
Absolutely. What do you think it is about? What do you think it is about blues music that sees it cross over generations? You mentioned all those other music forms that come and go, but blues always picks up fans in new generations.
Well, blues is something like everybody has. They just have different ways of interpreting it. Some interpret it not in song because they don't know how to do that. Blues affects all races and all kinds of people. It's like a true story put in like an imaginary way. Like you just can't write a song about so and so unless you know about it. But sometimes I'll see a person, and I can see that something is hurting them, and I'll write a song about what I think they're thinking, and I have no idea if that's true or not, but that's the way I feel like he's thinking, and I write a song about that, and or a woman sitting on the sidewalk with a basket, hungry and all that. I'll write a song about that, thinking. I believe that's how she's feeling. Now, I never talked to them to find out, but and then I write the songs about how I'm really feeling, and it's just that blues is a international thing. You just can't put your finger on it. Everybody has it at one time in their life. Nobody's just completely happy all the time. You could be happy and still love whatever blues you're going through. You can take it to a positive thing, or you can be negative. But as far as singing about the blues, I think my old country blues is what I call it, from Mississippi. They asked me why I play the slide guitar like I do and phrase like I do. I said, well, if you step in enough carbonier and you ain't got no place to clean it off and everything, and pick up the guitar, you're gonna play some blues there, or working the cotton patch till your hands bleed, and live in a house that doesn't have running water or electric light. Get up your lesson from school by a little oil lamp. You get the blues.
Yeah.
As
I said before, we haven't spoken since Sounds from Home came out. Can you give us a bit of a rundown on what you've been up to since then? I believe you've had some health issues of your own.
Yeah, I have. I went to. As a matter of fact, they told me to told my family to get all my stuff in order because they didn't think I was going to get out of the hospital, and they said I don't remember that I was in a coma. And they said I raised up and said bullshit, and he said, well, maybe not. so I came out of that, and I came home, started writing songs, and I think the first song I wrote when I come back was Old Morning Blues. I think it's on that album, and
Yeah.
And I had two chords coming out of my belly. And I said, Jerry McGee, let's go out there and let's cut this song. One take, because that's all I feel like doing. So we went out there and we did that song, and I came back and went back to bed. But that whole thing was pretty bad.
You do seem to be going through quite a prolific stage at the moment, writing a lot of songs. What do you put that down to?
I don't know. I write every day, and I've got like 700 songs laying out there, and about 400 or maybe 5 that I've already put down that are ready to go. And so I think I'm finally going, because I started a corporation and my own label, and I think I'm going to. Finally, I'm not sure. It won't be the next. The next album is called Rise Up, and now that's more of what I was into when I was on the road and stuff with Eric and then those guys. I think you really enjoy that. The Rise Up is a gospel song, which is the title of the album. But there's some rock and roll things in there. It burns the wall down, and I even did that song that Eric and I wrote called Bad Boy that I produced on his first album. I did it my kind of way, and also did when Lynn and I wrote the Superstar. I never have thought it was recorded the way that we wrote it, so I finally got to record that, and I'm really happy as a lawyer about that. And I think you'll enjoy that album too.
Sounds great. Again, this one is a very much a family affair. There's lots of members of your family on the record as well. It must be a wonderful feeling to make music with your loved ones like that.
Oh, it is. It certainly is.
Included is your... Go ahead.
I'm sorry.
No, go continue.
No, I have had a great friend over in Australia named Billy Thorpe. I don't know if you've heard of him.
Oh, absolutely, yeah, legendary.
Did you? Yeah. Well, he came over here and he was working with Fleetwood Mac. Him and my daughter actually joined it when the other two girls left, and he came to my home. We became great friends. We wrote quite a few songs together, and I was just shocked when I found out about what happened to him, and I still don't know the details. I heard he had a heart attack, but I didn't. I never. He's the one that told. He called me and said, "You've got to come over here." And he said, "I've got a band. You don't even have to bring your band." He said, "You've got to come over here." He said, they're going to love you over here." And so I said, "All right." So I had made plans to come. And the next thing I knew, Mick Fleetwood called me up and told me, he said, "Thorpe, he died." I said, "No." And that just broke my heart.
Oh, it was a great shock to all of us, and it was so sudden because he always looked so fit and healthy to us all. It was a real shock. The whole nation stopped basically down here.
Well, I didn't know there was anything wrong with him. He was a health nut, you know.
Yeah.
He looked like he could pull a string.
Yeah, it was. It was a real shock indeed. Your daughter Becca sings on the album. How's her career coming along?
Oh, it's doing great. I don't know who she's working with right now. She was working with Vince Gill for a while, and she worked with Faith Hill for a while, and now she's involved in doing her own thing. And since my mom has been sick, I haven't been able to fly down there to see her, and she's all busy down there, and so I just hadn't seen her. I just talked to her on the phone. I hadn't seen her in about, I guess, 3 months.
Ah. You have another daughter who's making quite a name for herself as an artist too, I believe.
Yeah, she is a fantastic artist. She's got some stuff. She had a Hallmark calendar a couple of years ago, and then she decided to get back into it and just really make a deal out of it. And so, well, she's really got some paintings now that's ridiculous. And she's got somebody that's backing her now, and I'm not sure who that is, John, but it's somebody that knows more about art than I do, but, which I'm glad.
Let's talk about your studio set up there, where the record was made. It sounds like a fantastic environment to work in.
Yeah, I've got people. They ask me once in a while, "How many tracks you got?" I said, "Well, I only got about 151 tracks. I don't know what I'm going to do if I run out of tracks." And then they laugh at me. You know, I use a thing called DA88, which gives it the warm feeling. It's digital, but it's tape, and then I can go to Pro Tools and get as many tracks as I want. I've got 24 track 88, then anything I want for the Pro Tools. So it's really, and I've got a great engineer, and everything is set up here. I don't have to. It's about 30 feet from my bedroom is my studio. So
very convenient.
And I'm expanding. I'll make another. There's a studio almost ready now, which used to be my barn, and so they made it real pretty, and I've got like 5 rooms out there, because I have my own mastering lab here, and it'd be nice to have it in a different room so I don't take up time with the musicians, and so that's going to be nice. I usually just mix and master here at the house, but then that stops all recordings when I'm doing that. You know?
Yeah. I noticed you played some sitar on this album. Not an instrument we'd associate with you normally. Does that go back to your days hanging out with George Harrison?
Yeah, it sure does. Yeah, but he was better than me, though. He was better than I was at it. But I love the sound of it. You know, it's one of those things. It's got an eerie, lonesome sound that I love. I think it fits any kind of music myself. I've used it on a couple things. Now you'll hear it on the Rise Up album too.
Yeah. Now they're mostly your songs, but there is a great arrangement of Sam Cooke's "Change Gonna Come." How did that come together?
Well, I've always wanted to do that. Sam was a friend of mine, and I worked with him the day before he was murdered, and me and him and Bobby Womack and Joe Hicks and Wilson Pickett. We used to get together and have barbecues, and we'd have barbecue contests. And Sam's wife was the judge, and the last time we did that, she didn't know whose was what, and she picked the winner. It was mine, and they just wanted to kill me. She picked mine out, and he said, "That ain't fair. You ain't supposed to be able to make barbecue sauce." So, and me and Wilson Pickett went out and hung out all night, and we got to be great friends. And he's one of my favorite singers and heroes for me. And so I told him, I said, would you mind if I said, I know it's like it takes the balls of a high diver to even ask you this. Would you mind if I could record that song? And he said, no, I wish you would. But I never got around to it. Just never got around to it. Never got till just recently. And I said, I'm gonna do that. I told him I was going to do it, and he said, okay, even though it was years ago. So I just called the musicians then and said, we're going to do it. Change is going to come.
I'm sure he would have loved it too.
And I think he would approve of it.
Oh, without a doubt, absolutely. Talk about the song P.O. Box 32789. Is there any significance to that address?
Yeah. It's kind of a true story, because I used to get in a lot of trouble, and I didn't start trouble. They used to say to me, and I don't know why I use this term, I got in a couple of fights, and I won, the fights, and I didn't start them. They just, if somebody wanted to challenge me and this and that, and I got a bad reputation for a while, and they would say, hey, pretty boy, you want to try me? Da-da-da-da-da. So one got pretty furious, and so I just wrote what I would have done if something more serious had come about it, and I just wrote that song. I had a P.O. box called same name, same number. So I said, well, that'll be a good chance to write about the P.O. box. If something would have worse happened in that incident, that'd be what I'd be doing. So that's how it came about.
Uh-huh. Now you closed the album with a real gospel feel on I'm Going to Be Ready, and gospel music is a style that you've always had a great feel for, isn't it?
I love gospel music. Yes, that's where I started playing guitar first of all. My mama taught me how to play some guitar, and then this black guy named R.C. Weatherall taught me blues. And I did my first TV show when I was 10, but I had been in church playing since I was 7 years old, and I was watching another guitar player over there who was very good, and I was just starting out, and I was just banging it, banging till I was learning the chords properly. But that was my real love, actually, gospel music. I think that's the prettiest music, and lyrically and everything else that there is.
I believe you got some good news recently with a cover of one of your most famous songs, Superstar, appearing on a #1 album.
Yes, it is, and it's actually something like twice. The Carpenter's version's on that, and this group, let's see, I can't think of the name now. I had never heard of them before this. My kids had, and they told me about they cut that. That was recorded about 10 years ago.
Oh, was it?
Did you know that?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, it was like a compilation album. They did. They called it "If I Were a Carpenter."
Ah, right.
And
it's like a tribute album, yeah.
It was like a tribute thing, and they chose to do Superstar, and then whoever put it up, I don't know what their deal was about putting Carpenter's version on there too, but they did, and thank God for that. Yeah, and now I got my own version coming out in my next album.
Oh, have you?
You know, I've been lucky, so lucky. Like Luther Vandross didn't do a real bad job, did he?
No.
You know, and Usher did it, and sheesh, I've been lucky with that.
Do you feel though do you feel it's a song that's been? Do you think it's a song that's been taken from you a bit because most people identify with so many other versions rather than yours?
Oh, yeah. No, I don't feel that way. It's just I'm proud of it. You know, it's let them rip. That's what I say. But when they hear mine, they're going to hear the way that me and Leon wrote it originally, and that's exactly what. And everybody puts their own little thing to it, you know, and all that. That's okay.
Yeah,
it don't bother me.
Absolutely. Now, you mentioned earlier you've been harbouring an ambition to put out a country album. Is that in the works at all?
Yeah, we're picking now. We've got it culled down to about 75, and we're taking away the one that we feel is the weakest one. I think it'll be a double album. So we're trying to cull out the weakest ones. When we were down to 75, so now we're just going to keep culling down and try to pick out what we think the strongest 20 of the on the double album. So we're having a problem. I've got so many of them.
Yeah.
And it's hard to, because I always, my favorite song is the last song I wrote. It's always that way.
Yeah.
What's your favorite song? Listen to this one here. I just wrote it. But you know, so that's pretty good thing to be worried about, I think.
Absolutely, for sure.
But that it may not be the next album after Rises Up. There may be one more rock and roll album after Rise Up before I do the country. We're really contemplating on that, and we're trying to figure it out what would be the best thing to do. So maybe another rock and roll album before the country.
Now, sadly, there's
I'll keep you informed.
Oh, absolutely, yeah, for sure. We'll look out for that. Sadly, there's no chance we'll get you down here now to play with Billy Thorpe. Is there any other chance we could get you down here at some point in the future?
Well, I would love to. The thing is, I guess it's kind of up to the agency who would put me down there, and thinking that maybe I have enough fans down there to not rob an agency and him not get his money back and stuff like that. If I have enough to do that, I'd love to come there. I've always wanted to come there, and at one point I could have come, and I've been off for so long, so many years. I don't know if fans grow up and get older and all that stuff, and I don't know if I have enough fans there to fill up a place that when I find out and somebody tells me yes you do, or then I'll be there on the next plane.
Do you play many festivals at all, Delaney?
Yeah, we're gonna do we haven't done yet. I did one show. Morgan Freeman opened the club down right next to the crossroads in Mississippi.
Yep.
Where Robert Johnson was, and it's called Club Zero. And he wanted to film a 30-minute show of me playing, and so I went down there and filmed that for him. And I didn't know. He said there won't nobody be there, just the film crew. So he said if you make a mistake or you want to do a song over, you're thinking do it better or something like that, you can just do that, no problems. But when I got down there, word of mouth got out, and when I was backstage, and you had to walk up a little stair thing to get on stage. And as I was walking up that stair thing, I heard people screaming. I went, what in the world? And it's so loud, I thought, what, did the Beatles all get back together or something? And I got up there, and that place was so packed, and outside there were thousands of people outside. I went, I didn't know what in the world. And he apologized to me. He said the word got out. He said, I promise you, I did not advertise. And I said, well, okay. So I said, well, I guess I won't be, if I make a mistake, I guess you're going to have to live with it. I won't be able to do it again. so we just did our show, and it turned out to be really, it was wonderful. I enjoyed it.
Fantastic. And just to finish this up, apart from the next record, what else is in your plans for 2008?
I plan on traveling. If like I say, if I think I can do for an agency or the booking situation, if I can do something that would be worth their while to book me in Australia, I'll be there.
Fantastic.
I don't want anybody to lose any money on me, stuff like that. But if I get the feeling and somebody tells me that go down there, it'll be fine, then that's where I'm headed.
Great, we'll be waiting for you.
I wouldn't mind starting the tour off there, and then maybe go to Europe, and then working my way back here.
Sounds good. Delaney, thanks so much. It's been fantastic to catch up with you again, and congratulations on a wonderful blues album. It's just sounding magnificent.
Well, thank you so much. I'm just happy to talk to you again.
Yeah, it's been.
Let's don't wait so long. We'll get back together.
Oh,
I'll keep you informed.
Absolutely. When the next one's out, I'll be straight onto you. We'll stay in touch.
Okay.
Okay. And give our best wishes to your mum as well.
Thank you. Thanks, John.
Okay. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye.